Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Julie at Craft So Cute, and I'm so glad that you're here watching this process video. And I will be starting to paint this second background mixed media page. And what I've done earlier today, what I did for prepping, was going through my paints and laying down some colors to see which ones I'm going to use. And I used a metallic, I put down a metallic black, a copper, some gold, barnyard red, this dark one is, let me find it for you. Oh, I just had it. It is burnt umber, antique gold, golden brown is what this color is. Is that golden brown? Where is it at? This one I think is nutmeg. And tell me I didn't put that away. Hold on a second. It's got to be somewhere in here. Yep, this is a golden brown, nutmeg, and I think this is chestnut right here, chestnut. And I had taken out some of my watercolor paints to brush on to see if I liked it, especially this color here, the turquoise, and it wasn't quite what I wanted. So what I did was I took out some of my True Navy and my English Ivy acrylic paint, and I mixed some antique white to get this turquoise color, which I want to start off by using, because if you notice, like if you've seen pennies that have been soaking in the water and then it just, through air and oxidation, the water evaporates, and then you're left with this patina that you could see copper, the oxidation that starts to turn this turquoise color, and then a little bit of white, and then, you know, black, just because of it being dirty. And so it's been exposed to all these elements, making this cool looking old penny. So this is what I'm wanting to do, is because steampunk, you know, with all the gears and stuff, I want it to look like it's been oxidized. And so I want to start off, actually I mixed up this color, I can mix it again. No, since I've got some of this mixed up, I'm just going to go for it and show you what I'm doing. Here's my little palette that I'm going to use. Because I have some of this already made, I'm going to go ahead and use it up, and then I will move this out of the way, this paper, and then use my little, it's an ice cream cover. I save these for my paint palettes. So what I'm just going to do is, I'm wanting to dry brush this. I know I just pulled this out of the water, but that's okay. But mostly dry brushing. So I'm going to use whatever I have left up here, and I'm just going to start going for it and just laying this color down, you know, in the grooves. And I know that it's painting on top of the texture paint, but that's okay, you know, because once this is all said and done, you know, you'll see everything, but you're going to see hints of this oxidation, this color come through. And while I want on my wish list is to one day buy me a set of alcohol inks, you know, and be able to, okay, I think I've mopped this up. Okay, so I'll get this out of the way. And what I'm going to do, if you've noticed these elements right here, I'm going to move this. This is my little color palette for me to refer to with what paints I want to use. So I'm going to set that aside over here for a reference. Let's see. I have so much stuff over on my right side. But I'm going to also paint these gears and cogs. I'm going to add it to here. So let's go ahead and mix up this color, and I'll show you what I've done to do it. And there's, you know, I don't use any type of, you know, ratio. What I did was I started off with my English Ivy Green and just put a dab like this. I'm not doing a whole lot because I don't want to waste the paint. Then I take the True Navy, put a dab there, just like that on top. I'm going to take my Antique White and just pop that on there. I may have used my, either the Antique White or my Parchment. I may have used my Antique Parchment. We'll see how this goes. If it's too light, then I'll have to add some of that. So I just kind of mix this up to get me that beautiful, yep, it was the Antique White that I used, and I need a little more blue, True Blue. I think that's what I need. Oops. Okay. Yeah, it's coming along. It's getting there. Yep. So it is, to get this color, if you're using the acrylic paints, the inexpensive ones you find at Walmart. See, and there we are. So English Ivy Green, True Navy, and Antique Parchment. Don't use the Antique White because it makes it going towards the light baby colors, you know, the so we've got a perfect mixture here, and you just mix it up until you get to this color of this patina, and see, it matches. So I'm just going to cover this, even though I'm putting a lot of coverage on here, just getting it on here, it's not all going to show up as you keep painting and layering. And what I've done, my mistake was, had I known, I'm afraid to get all the underside, the underbelly messed up with paint, so I'm trying to be very careful. I'm just brushing it on, dry brushing it on, get as much coverage on here. I know I'm pretty much covering the whole thing, but that's okay. Once it dries, it's not gonna affect anything. Okay, being careful not to hit the spine over here. So, how's everybody doing? Are you guys gonna get your paints out and craft along with me and just try it out? Remember, I'm a newbie to all of this. I'm not afraid to use paint because I've painted before. I painted, you know, caricatures and things like that on my walls in the house, painting as a kid, sketching and drawing. The only thing is that I've not used, I've never created anything like this with, I'm just going to go like this. I'm not going to cover this whole area right here. And let's get some in between these grooves here. I'm wanting to focus in getting it inside these grooves. Oh shoot. Oh, hang on. Let me wipe that off. Have some baby wipes nearby. See, I just get lost in all of this, and I just want to paint. You know, just go for it and get it all down. I have to be careful not to get it on the spine here. It's gonna go off this edge here a little bit. Because even while it's going to be subtle, I still want some of this blue, this turquoise oxidated look to still be visible. Okay. Ugh. Be careful I'm not. So you gotta get that. Whew. All right. And the next color I'm going to be using on here is I'm going for some black. So I'll probably use my black metallic because I don't have just the black paint. But metallic's fine because you know what I'm going for is still having this look like a metal element. Okay, so I think I just want to mop all of this up and make sure I use it all up. I don't want to waste any of this paint. Okay. Yeah. You're going, okay, Julie, that's enough. I know, but I hate wasting it, you know? Okay, that's good enough. I'm going to go ahead and clean off this brush, and I'm going to clean off my little palette here. Yeah. Okay. Clean it off as best I can. That's good. Okay. Alright. I'll get some more wet wipes out, so I'm ready. Keep some wet wipes there. And a couple of napkins off to my side. We buy these napkins like this, these paper towels at Costco. Such a great deal. These things just last forever. And they... let me just get all this ready. Off to my side here. Okay. While we're doing that, this is drying. And I'll show you... oh! You know what I've done? Instead of mopping it all on here, I should have started applying it onto my little hogs. Let me go ahead and just dry this up real quick, okay? Oh, it will help if I plug it in, right? Yeah. It is probably, let's see what time it is. I'm starting kind of late. It's about 6:47. My husband is just wanting some attention today, so I just sat with him and we watched a movie on Netflix, and it was called, oh, it's really good. If you guys have Netflix, it's called I gotta pause and find it for you because it's such a good movie. If you haven't watched it already, let me just check this out. I'm gonna pause and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The movie is called, on Netflix, The Keeping Hours. Again, the movie is called The Keeping Hours. I'm not going to tell you all about it. Just trust me. It's such a good movie. Oh my gosh, it brought me to tears. And my husband, I know, became emotional because he ended up tapping my tummy. I'm like, okay. I need to do something here real quick. Oops, sorry guys. There is a puddle here. On here. That I don't want. Let me just remove some of it right here. It's just a chunk of paint, acrylic paint there. I saw somewhere else. I don't want that chunk there taking away from these raised elements. Okay. Okay. So anyway, that movie is so good, and we watched it, and we're just, you know, today is Sunday, and he has to go back to work tomorrow, and it just, this weekend just goes by so quick. Because I don't want the next paint, even though it's black, I don't want it muddying the black up. Even though I don't think it would matter. This is just about dry, but go ahead and check out that movie. It's so good. The Keeping Hours. Oh my gosh. My husband and I are always looking through Netflix to find really good movies to watch, and I don't know, these days, talk about things being muddied. A lot of movies are becoming very muddied with other things that, you know, we don't agree with. Okay, so the next layer I'm going to use a metallic black and get some of those everywhere. I tend to be a very messy painter, and that's okay, right? I know it's okay. That's natural, but you know, because I have things everywhere, I have a tendency to take my hand and touch other things, so I've got paint everywhere on everything. So I'm actually being very good and being very careful not to. Let me shake this off real quick. I know that this looks really blue, and it's the lighting that's causing it to actually be a little bit brighter. Let me see if I bring it up closer. It's actually not, but it's my lighting. Hang on, let me see. If I turn one off, it's more of a greenish, bluish turquoise, but this is actually making it very, very bright looking, and it's actually not. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to add some of this black here at a time. I'll just leave that open in case I need to get some more out. So that's why I was going to start early this morning, but we've been having some problems with our internet. My husband said that he thinks that we're going to need to buy a new router. Yeah, and then, not on top of that, he purchased me another phone, so having to deal with all of that and transferring all my information, oh my gosh, such a hassle. I said I didn't really need a new phone. I mean, I wanted to get rid of the phone that we have now. I mean, we use the Huawei, or I think that's how you pronounce that, Huawei. I just didn't like the phone, and for other reasons too that I won't get into, because it can become a little political, and I don't want to get into that. Let me see, how am I doing? How's that looking? I'm just getting some of these in the black areas. And using this black, well, I'm sure you know, like when you're looking at cogs and stuff, it's got little, you know, old metal gears and things like that have got some dirt and grime, and that's the feature I'm trying to capture in here. While this looks very black, it's not going to end up this way, you know. It's not going to look like this because of the other layering that's going to take place on here. But this is my process to get me to where I want to be in the end. I think painting is so relaxing, and you know, and when you make a mistake, right? When you make mistakes, it's so easy. You just take some white paint or gesso, cover it up, and start your layering all over again, right? Just gonna make sure that I don't have chunks of paint. Okay, just get this all scattered here. I want to make sure that I've got them in where the numbers are. See, if you can see, as I'm using the black in between the metal gears and the butterfly, you can see in between the patina of the blue, of the turquoise, and that's what we want. It's going to end up, we're going to be able to see, even though a lot of it will be covered, we'll be seeing hints of this patina, that oxidation patina that's going to take place, and that takes place in copper pennies. And I am 20 minutes in, and what I think, if I start getting in like at the 30-minute mark, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it and then start loading this first part of the mixed media and start filming the other. And the reason why, I did mention that it loads up a lot faster. I'm thinking that looks pretty darn good. So let me get some black here. I'm dry rubbing all this stuff on, just getting it in here, into these little wrinkles in the paper. Do you see that? That's why when I lay tissue down, I don't particularly mind if there's wrinkles and stuff in the paper. It just adds that cool looking old texture and look, like vintage look, old, just like it's completely worn look to it. Let's see if I can get some of this in here. Remember, if you're using this, if you're doing what I'm doing, you don't want to lose all of this blue, okay? So I'm going to stop right there on this. If you guys can see, let's see. That's where I'm at right now. Looking pretty good, right? Looks scary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these right now, and here's where my fingers are going to get dirty. I'm going to start covering this, and I'm not covering all of this copper. And these elements right here, which is if you have a craft store near you, these are buttons. These right here, I was going to order a bunch of these metal embellishments online, but I figured by the time I put all these metal fixtures on in this album, this journal, it's going to weigh a lot just because of the metal elements. So luckily I found this, and it came looking like this. I'll show you. I've already emptied a lot of this out. See? Here, look at all these. Look at all this. And these were another set of buttons, silver and gold and embellishments. Yeah, this is pretty cool, right? $6 or $7 for a size. Oops. Look at the size. Look at all of that. And those little metal and gold buttons came in like this size also. And they have clock heads. Oh, actually, let me pull one out and I'll show you. Oh, and check this one out too. Look at that. And here's that. Trying to find one of those clock faces that I cut the back off of. I know I have one in here. I think I'm making a lot of noise, right? Or you may not even... Oh, found one! Okay, let's replace this with that. While this is drying over here, we're going to take some of this paint and just kind of paint some of this up. Just like that. Let's... A dab will do ya. Might as well use up and mop up all these... Just like that, just, you know, punch it on there, dab it on there, because remember, we're going to be layering. I'll be layering this with some of this color, the turquoise, and these little tiny cogs. But I just want some of this black paint to be inside of these grooves. This one's already pretty cool in and of itself, if you can see. I don't need to do anything to that. So I don't know if I'll be using that. I'll just set that aside over there. Okay, so we've got these guys tapped in. Let me show you. Let me pick it up. Tapped in. You see how you can see the copper? There's some of that copper in there. I'm just tapping it out with some black. So I'm going to set those aside over there. And even if you get some of your pieces, if you're doing this a little too black, a little too dark, you just take some of your metallic copper paints and let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to do too much more on that because I think I'm just going to make it this 5 and these numbers just a little bit more tapped in on there. I'm trying very carefully not to cover up my blue, my little oxidation here. Okay, so we have that going. I'll clean this off. Get one of my wet wipes and clean this off. Thank goodness for wet wipes, right? But my goodness, thinking, you know, with this recent lockdowns and stuff, you know, can you imagine all those mommies? I mean, my daughter is one of them. My daughters who needed wet wipes, and they needed to stock up on these, and they couldn't find them anywhere. It was so sad. But then I tell them, hey, go old school, man. Just go, you know, Oriental on your children and take out those little washcloths and, you know, warm them up and wipe their bottoms down, or, you know, run them under the sink and wash their little bottoms. Hey, that's Oriental style. That's how I raised my kids. My mom's like, you know, you don't need that kind of stuff. That's the waste. No, you just wipe it, throw this in the wash and use it again. And I was like, so I had to raise my children like old school Oriental, you know, Rafiki, I'm gonna karate you if you don't listen to me, mama, you know, type of stuff. So yeah, that's so I told my daughters, you know, because my oldest daughter has, oh, excuse me, I'm getting my heat gun. 2 little ones that were in diapers and needing diapers and wipes, and my youngest daughter, who lives here in Georgia, has one a young one that needs wipes and diapers. And man, I'm telling you, I dare not buy it for any of my personal use. I didn't. Anytime I went to the store and I saw wipes, I bought it for my daughter. I was like, I'll just, you know, put my little bottom in the shower, you know, until the pandemic, all this stuff is opened up, you know. I mean, and then, you know, with all the toilet paper and stuff, and, you know, this one thing I know, I was not upset when people were buying out the toilet paper. Do you know why? I said, because you have no idea if one family has all girls. What if they had 5 to 7 girls in their entire family? And you know, girls, it's not like the boys. They can just, like, you know, shake it off. Us girls can't shake it off, you know. And then, you know, other things, reasons why we need more toilet paper than men, you know. So it's like, you know, I'm not going to fuss about people stocking up on toilet paper because we don't know where they're at. And especially when all the schools closed down, okay, they didn't have to worry about stocking up on the toilet paper all the time because their kids were in school 8 hours a day using the school bathrooms and their supplies. But when they're home 24/7, you run out and you realize, oh my gosh, how much I have to buy. And, you know, people are making fun of people having to stock up on toilet paper. We don't know how large their families are. You know what I mean? Especially if you're taking care of elderlies, you know. And if wipes were hard to find, you're going to need to stock up on some toilet paper to take care of your adult loved ones that are bedridden and stuff. So, you know, I was like, people, come on, stop being so hateful and sarcastic about that. It's like, you know, if you need the toilet paper, then, you know, because I know that for us, from just me and my husband, it's like, well, because I know how much of a struggle it is. We're not taking care of itty bitty little ones, but my daughter is a single parent taking care of 2 girls, you know, and it's like, well, I'm going to stock up. I'm going to help them stock up because they need it, you know. But I'm not going to, if there was like 2 left on the shelf, I'm not going to buy 2. I'm going to leave 1 on the shelf. But if there was like 10, guaranteed I'm going to go for 3 to 5. And that's not being greedy. It's because I know what my circumstances are, right? So anyway, let's not get off on that tangent. And I think it's dry to go to the next level. The next step. So we'll get back to these because these are busy drying. And we can always make this turquoise color up again. So now what I want to do is I want to add, let me see. Let me refer to my color palette here. I know that the metallics, they're going to go up top. They're going to be, well, but in this case, black for me because I didn't have just plain black. So I had to use what I had was the metallic black. But you can see, even though it's metallic, it came out fine. So if you only have metallic, go for it, you know. Because it doesn't come off too shiny, you know. So anyway, I'm looking at this palette because I'm building up I'm building the stage, building its layers. So what I want to see in between these raised pieces from the texture paint, in between I want to go, I think I'm going to go start with this, and I believe that might have been nutmeg. It's not chestnut. See the colors? Can you see that? This one's a little more red. This one's more brown. So I think that was chestnut. I don't have much of that left in there. And I am going to use a little bit of this barn red in here. Where? Okay, so it can't be the burnt umber. This is burnt umber, so that's too dark. And actually, wait a minute. Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to start off with some burnt umber. I'm going to start off with some burnt umber, then I'm going to go to chestnut or nutmeg, and then it will be chestnut and then red. Just little bits of it. You'll see why, how it'll come out. You're going, barnyard red? I'm not using red, but if you see this, it looks super red, but this is a barnyard red. So let's just start off I'm not going to go for a whole lot of this, and you'll see. But remember, old pennies look real dirty, right? So it's going to have a little bit of dirt, you know, old cogs and gears. Okay, so here we go. See that? Can you already see that? How it's got a little dirt to it. Oh, so I'm just going to go like this, add a little bit here. And having alcohol inks, oh my gosh, would have been so great, right? Do you see? Oh, let me see. Can you see that? It's my lighting. I don't know how to fix lighting. That's one thing I'm going to do next. Can you see that in there? It's starting to look a little dirty and muddy. So I'm going to add some of this in there. Bring just some of that. I'm just going to whip it around. So let's just whip that brown around. Can you see what I'm doing? Let me try something. How's that? I think that's just way too dark now. Let's see if I switch places. Like that. Let's see. Let me turn this light back on. Kind of help, kind of not, right? Nope. Okay. Let's just keep moving on. I'm just gonna dot this around with some of this brown. And I'm using right now some burnt umber. I'm taking it primarily where the black is, and then over a little parts of the blue. See right here, to make it start to look dirty, because this is going to look like a big huge metal element. So I'm taking some of this here, dry brush some of that over here, just kind of like, see, my brush is not wet. Okay, I'm at the 36 mark, guys. And what I'm going to do is stop it right here. And then I'm going to start the next video process, okay? I'm going to stop it here, load it just so it starts loading up. But look at this, is where we're at, I know, right? In 36 minutes, this is how far we've come. But remember, I'm new at this mixed media. I'm taking my time because I seriously don't want to mess it up. But this is what that looks like. Is that pretty cool? So far, so good? Yep, and there's my 3. Let me get a little more brown right in here for that 3 to pop out. See? Just adding that bit of brown makes that 3 just stand out a little bit more. So that's about what I'm going to do with this brown. And then, you know, I'm going to take these little elements here, and whatever I have left over, I'm just going to mop it up and then just dot it onto these little elements. Okay. We're not going to waste any of the paint, but after using this, all these colors on these little metal embellishments, not metal, but they're plastic, they're buttons that I got. Okay, that's as much as far as I can go. Oh. Ah, my fingers. Let me hurry up and do this so I can end this video. Okay. Wow, that's looking pretty grungy and dirty, which is cool. Yep, there we go. There's that, right? Okay. And that goes, and I'll be right back, you guys. And here's this. This is where we're at right now. That's what that looks like. See you in a few minutes.